screen going. Okay, not sure. Somebody's volume's on that has a TV on the background. There's something going on in the background. Okay, that was you. I got it. Oh, Beth Tejan.
I think it was me, son.
All right, I'll wait to see if the mom clocks or logs in. All right, let's I don't see Miss Hobage, but I think we have a quorum, so I'll just drive on. We will call ourselves to order by checking our quorum. Time is 5 o'clock. Dr. Windsor present. Mrs. Mendonca
Present.
Dr. Tejan,
Present.
Mrs. Jones,
Present.
and Mrs. Hobage.
Present.
The others who are guest participants, if you could make sure you keep your phones on mute. And as we deliberate, this is really just a board meeting and your observers for now. In a little while, we will go into executive. We will vote to go into executive session. And Ms. Nakamura and Ms. Chu, because it's an executive session, you'll have to wait out into the darkness of the Zoom landscape. All right, I call our meeting to order at 5 o'clock. First order of business is to discuss and vote and approve the previous minutes. I will let Ms. Marcela Espinosa in. Greetings, Ms. Espinosa.
Hi, how are you?
Feeling good, thank you.
Good.
Hey, as a participant, we'd ask you to mute your microphone, and then when we get to your part, which is item 3, then we'll notify you, and we'll all go into an executive session.
Okay, sounds great. I'll mute it now.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, do you need me to put the former meeting notes up on the share?
No, I was able to view them personally.
Anybody else need to review them?
I already reviewed them.
You need to review them?
No, I saw them.
Oh, you saw them. Okay, very good.
This is Ben. I move to approve the meetings move to adopt the meeting minutes for the previous 2 meetings as presented.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, board members, please signify by yes.
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 Any opposed? No. Hearing none. Oh, I need to actually say, let's see, Miss Martinez, not here. And that's all, right? We have everybody else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. Mrs. Martinez. Very good. All right. Now, number 3, I would entertain a motion for us to go into an executive session to discuss a student promotion retention appeal by Mrs. Gomez.
This is Ben. So moved.
I'll
Here's a second. Okay, Beth, thank you. I'll do a roll call vote. Mrs. Mendonca,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
um, Dr. Tejan,
Yes, please.
Mrs. Hobeige,
Yes.
and Dr. Windsor. Yes. Move us into Beth, Crystal's phone, lost, Espinosa, Mr. Gilmer, Mrs. Jones. Okay, I hope I do this right. All right, after our executive session, I would entertain a motion to overturn the appeal. So I understand this is an appeal to overturn. So I'm going to entertain a motion to overturn the retention of Mercedes Gomez to 7th grade. Mrs. Jones. Oh, you are.
Sorry, Brian, there's no motion on the table.
I'm entertaining a motion. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I think we have to, I'm just going to say what I think we need to say. I move to deny appeal of the student retention.
Move to deny the appeal. All right.
I second.
Appeal. Okay. So that was Dr. Tejan move. This is Mendonca second. All right, now I can do a roll call vote. Okay. Dr. Tejan.
Okay,
Yes.
can you hear me now? I'm sorry. I apologize. Go ahead.
I got you. Okay, Dr. Tejan.
Yes.
Mrs. Jones.
Yes.
Mrs. Mendonca.
Yes.
Mrs. Hobage.
Yes.
And Dr. Windsor. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What this means is Mercedes will be retained in the 7th grade, and we will wrap around everything we can around her to make sure that she is loved and supported through this. Now, all is not lost. So visit with us, because if she can really rev up through 7th grade, we have opportunity as an 8th grader to take 9th grade classes. So let her know all is not lost. Now we just need to see the high level of work and achievement. Okay. All right. Next item, I'm going to see it. I do not have my phone. Could somebody text Joel? Does anybody have Joel Bryce's phone number to tell him we're ready for him? Because I saw him. Wait. Oh, wait. Do I have Rie?
Yeah.
Where's Misan?
I'm here. Rie is here.
I'm
Misan?
here too.
Oh, okay. I saw 2 people still. Oh, they're unassigned to the breakout rooms. We're good. Does anybody have Joel's?
Yeah,
Oh,
I have.
Rie.
I
Okay, very good.
I was able
Let him
to
know we could be
Oh.
ready. All right. So because Joel isn't with us yet, I would I would entertain a motion to go to item 6, the parent compact.
I think you have authority to do that on your own, Brian.
Thank you. Let's move. I like authority. We're going to move to item number 6, discussion and vote to approve the school parent compact. This is a compact we approved in 2023, and I want to revisit it. I'm not sure if everybody had the opportunity to review that. I will put it up on the share. Okay, is it shared?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right. The part that was modified I changed that so many times. Now here it is again. Workshop. The part that was modified was in the parent responsibilities. Just to make it more specific on what we would want them to do as a parent and to help us out. To regularly check Infinite Campus, attend the scholar conferences, sign their leadership agendas. That wasn't in the last one. It was just very generic. Discuss their progress data in their leadership notebook. This all comes from meetings with teachers and with the principals, asking what can we do better, have our parents do better, communicate with them. Then involving your family in the community, attending, volunteering, engaging with your scholar and extracurricular programs, and serving on the Lighthouse Committee. So this was just more fleshed out. I'll review that. And it is translated into Spanish, and I had Stephanie look at it again today to make sure the Spanish was still good, and it wasn't. So she redid it. Oh, this is another thing that was added. This and treating all faculty and staff with kindness and consideration. That's become an issue in our world a little bit. That's my pen. Let me know if I need to scroll down or up. Is there any discussion on this school parent compact?
I have a question for the leadership team. Has there been any thought given to whether it's appropriate to have a uniform parent compact all the way through grade 12 as opposed to having a separate one for the PLA?
The dress code uniform is the same from K through 8, right, Phil?
Is that what you're referring to, Dr. Tejan?
Oh,
No.
yeah.
No, I'm referring to this document specifically.
Yeah.
So we,
Oh.
Yeah.
our expectation, I mean, boiling it down, our expectations of parents are the same regardless of what grade the scholar is in.
I see what you're saying.
And I'm just wondering whether that's, I mean, we haven't always had a PLA, so I wondered, I'm just trying to think back
So
whether
should there
we had
be
any
an
analysis.
elementary parent and a PLA parent compact?
Yeah, I don't know if there needs to be one. I was just wondering what kind of like
Differences
consideration has
within-
been given to that distinction.
We could study that. Yeah, let's look at that over this next year. That's a good suggestion, I think. 1 second.
So while Brian's out, and anyone who contributed to the changes this year, do you have any feedback that we should be thinking about, or, I mean, it looks fine to me.
I don't think, I think it's just a conglomeration of all the feedback that we received from teachers and parents.
Sorry, there's an alarm going off downstairs, like, ah.
I was saying, Dr. Windsor, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that this any of the changes are just kind of combination of all from the feedback from teachers and parents and how to just tighten up the compact. Is that correct?
Say it one more time.
Any of the changes in the compact are just based on the feedback from teachers?
Oh, yeah,
Okay, yes.
yeah. So far, this creation, this iteration is that feedback from them. But we could certainly pull it apart and over the year, have Ms. Johnson and Mr. Gilmer kind of, and their leadership team analyze it, especially in light of our continuous improvement plan, our accreditation efforts that we've gone through, and maybe align it a little bit better for the two campuses.
Yeah, and we, one of our major, rally cries right now is relationships. So I think we can look at it again throughout the year from that angle of building better relationships.
Okay, I like that. All right, I would entertain a motion.
And the motion is to
Adopt the parent compact
adopt the parent compact.
for fiscal year 2026, yeah.
Okay, well, I move to adopt the school parent compact for 25-26 school year.
This is Ben, I second.
All right, all in favor, say yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes. All right, Joel, thank you for joining us. We were in
You bet.
executive session. I saw you, but I thought if I hit admit, will he just zoom in?
Yeah, I'll come right into the executive session. No,
So I thought,
that makes
I
sense.
better just
I figured something was up.
risk offending the guy. All right, I'm going to make you co-host, and then we are on item number 5, the ADE proposed budget fiscal year 2026.
Perfect.
Whoops, where am I? Make co-host. I changed the name of that one document to be our statement of activities. I hope that was all right. It made sense to me. I like that document. Well, I don't like its numbers at the moment. I like, that's a good dashboard document.
All right, so board members, we're looking at the proposed budget here in a moment. I want to make sure you understand the correlation between your actual operating budget, which is the budget we execute, and the state proposed budget. So they are the same. They're just presented so differently that it's very hard to follow. So I'm going to try to walk you through this and give you a quick update on FY25. We've gone through and compiled a closing projection of where we think we will finish the year. At this point, there's only a few days left really in the fiscal year. So it's a pretty accurate projection based on what we anticipate happening. We'll finish this year with a 1.06 debt service coverage, positive earnings for the year, minimally acceptable coverage. It is below the requirement for our authorizer and our loan agreement and indenture of trust with the bonds. It would kind of fall within a gray area of it's a technical default, not an actual default. So there may be some things bondholders might request of you. I doubt it because we did tell them about thin coverage at the beginning of the year. It's
Scoot you in a little bit,
an
Joel.
unsuccessful year for Paideia. It's just very, very thin performance based on expenses being a little higher than we'd like them to be, where we thought they would be, but higher than we want them to be in comparison to our enrollment for the year. Brian, did somebody have a question?
I just wanted to scoot you in just a little bit.
Oh, let's make it bigger. Yeah, it is small. Okay. So here's 25. We
There
had
we go.
844 students enrolled, 807 ADM will produce $10.287 million in revenues, over $9.699 million in expenses. That breaks out to a 1.06 coverage. It's positive earnings. Cash for the year in total balance goes up a smidge. Our days cash goes down a smidge because our expenses per day got higher. Similar trend for next year. So next year we're projecting 889 enrolled scholars, 847 ADM, $10.4 million in revenues across all sources. No more federal funds that are COVID related. It's all normal operating revenues at this point. Over $9.8 million in expenses. That gives us another kind of duplicate year, 1.06 coverage for the year as we start out right now. We've modeled this exact thing into the state budget I'm about to show you. I have two things to point out to the board. One is if we get closer to the fiscal year starting, or really the school year starting, I should say, we'll monitor our enrollment very closely. If we're significantly below this projection, management will make changes to the expense structure where necessary, but it might be that Paideia chooses to run with a very thin year for the year because you are incredibly liquid. You've got plenty of cash reserves to weather a very minimal deficit for the year. And it may be that you make a determination that continuing to invest in your program is a better use of current funds versus trying to maintain a coverage level of a certain rate, even though you've got lots of cash on the balance sheet. So I pointed out to say you're in great financial shape. We monitor this performance extremely closely and work with management to do so. So it's no concern whatsoever. It's just pointing out enrollment for the upcoming year, if it comes in at this level, 889, is going to produce a pretty thin year coverage wise. We'll decrease a little bit of cash, like $55,000 worth. It's not a significant amount. And days cash will go down because our expenses per day go up about $1,250 per day in the upcoming budget year. This is the last year we can get away with increased daily expenses without increased daily revenues from increased enrollment. With that, so these numbers, 10.408, 9.809, going to move into the proposed budget for the year. It's in a very different form than makes sense to the average human. I'm going to try to walk you through this in some detail so you'll see where it ties in. So this is fiscal year 26. We're approving this today, hopefully. Last year's revenues, 10.168649. This year's revenues, 10.408672, which lines up exactly with right here. On the expense side, we'll get into this in a moment, but I want to point out average teacher comp went up because of changes in teacher positions, individuals moving out and some moving in. Your average teacher comp really didn't go up hardly at all. It went from 60,006 projected for 25 to 60,110 for 26. That's real numbers inclusive of assumed bonuses. But that has a little bit more to do than you think with just the changing of people. One position out, another person fills that position at a lower rate in some cases. So that may be a positive sign, to be honest. All right, this is the meat and potatoes section. This is your school-wide expenditure from state equalization and all local sources. We're only talking about those expenses in the body of this report up here. Then it filters in down below. It adds in classroom site funds, instructional improvement funds, SEI funds, compensatory instruction if we had it, and then federal expenditure down below. Draw your attention to this 9.809232 expenses total for this budget. Matches up with 9.809232 there. So this budget, even though it looks weird, is your budget, just broken into the functional distribution by object and the different classifications of expense project. So federal, state, M&O, school-wide, and so on. So if you look, you'll see there are some differences that you wouldn't expect to see in a year where we grow expenses. You see reductions in some areas of expenditure. It has to do with how we're shifting the classifications, and we are trying to push more into the classroom. And then from year to year, you'll also see some changes here based on what we're picking up with federal funds, which are presented on a different page of this report, which I'll get to in a moment. versus what we're picking up with M&O. So again, I point out it's hard for someone that sees this report 2 times a year to necessarily follow all the movement, but all of your revenues and all of your expenses are in here. We're breaking it down based on how we're paying for the expense, what type of funding source, but it is an accurate representation of what we intend to do for the year at this time. This year, we'll have a 3-part budget approval process. The first is what we're doing tonight, approval of the proposed budget. The next is the approval of the adopted budget, which will be this exact document in its adopted form. Just we change the name on it essentially. And then by September 15th, we'll be required to do a revised budget approval, which will be in the new form created by the Auditor General's office after the legislature passes a state budget for the upcoming year. We don't have that yet, so we're dealing with a temporary document and in going through this process. So no matter what, this is going to get revised by September 15th. The good news with that, we'll know our actual students and their seats number at that point, and we'll know our actual per pupil funding from the state.
Yeah.
So it will be an extremely accurized model that will align with your then revised budget, which we do every month. We revise it internally to make sure it's still on track, but it'll be dead on accurate at that point. So with that, we'll go on to the next page. It's kind of a hodgepodge page, to be honest with you. On the left side here, federal expenditures, which equals federal revenues. This feeds into the page before. So you get a total of $1.2 million in federal and state programmatic funding. The only thing from the state is the school safety grant, Brian. 69,000 is what we're assuming is the allocation for the upcoming year. Everything else is federal.
Good.
Total of $1.137 million in Fed. The bulk of that is broken out between Title I and National School Lunch Program. On the right-hand side, state equalization and local funds spending for special education programs. We're projecting $350,000 in spending from those school-wide sources. It's supported with another $150,000 and some change from IDEA on the Fed side.
That's plenty.
You believe it or not, you overspend that, but
I was looking at Nissan's like,
we overspend that number, but that's the funding relegated to it. And
Yeah.
to be fair, there is state equalization presented as M&O as it's supposed to be, that is purposeful in its allocation. It's designed to be special education supportive. So you get enough, if you count the state equalization for special education and the IDEA, you narrowly cover that with your special education spending. All right. Teacher compensation increases is how we're using instructional improvement funds in the upcoming year. Teacher to pupil, this is a number that scares me a little bit. 16-1 is the average we're looking at based on our projected enrollment for the upcoming year, and 8.8 staff pupils per staff. Those are both lower than we have traditionally run, meaning that what we've kind of seen is an incremental loss of enrollment without adjustment. So, and it happens in schools of this size, especially. You can't eliminate a teaching position because you lost 15 students because they didn't come from one classroom. They came from 15 different
well,
classrooms.
tell me about the staff to pupil. Is that like all the employees?
All employees.
Okay.
Yeah, 8.8 students per employee. We have a lot of employees.
Yes, we do.
What you would actually like to see this number be is around
Yeah.
12. This number, ideally, considering how many different kinds of teachers, that's special education teachers, specials teachers, and then core teachers, that should be 21, 22 for us. 22 is kind of a target for Paideia. We have extra teachers, and some of that is the classroom or the high school expansion. We have some growing in to do to that. We've invested early, but it's something that as we monitor this, we can't survive on 16-1 for classroom teachers. Obviously, we're growing into it. So that number we look to increase each year going forward to really maximize the production per classroom so we can afford our bills. We spend very little money on state equalization on school nutrition, which is great. We cover almost all of that number with National School Lunch Program. That is the benefit of having such a high FRL count, is we get funded for every student. Every meal is fully reimbursed, which is awesome. Here is your debt service for the year, $1.6 million, including principal. That's an eye-opener, but that's what's on this page. The next page is classroom site funds. We're going to receive about $863,000 based on our projected enrollment. We are planning on spending all of that to maintain teacher compensation increases given in prior periods, many prior periods, and the current upcoming year increases, as well as to provide for performance bonuses to teaching staff. So that money gets expended fully. We don't increase our restricted funds on hand by the end of the year. We received 24,000-ish in SEI funding we're projecting for the upcoming year. This will change because they wait until they get our actual population count for this. But right now we're projecting 24,000, and we'll spend all of it on a portion of an SEI teacher, which is structured English immersion, or ELL. And then the last one, budget overview. This is the minimum you have to post with your required notices to the public. I always tell clients, just post the whole thing. There's nothing in it that is remotely not for public consumption. And then the last page, this is the second year they've provided this in the budget. This is an overview of our projected fund balance. Really what they mean is cash on hand that the school has to operate from should it need it. We finished 24 with $5.7 million. This year that we just are finishing now, we're projecting 10.278 million in revenues, over 10.508862 in expenses and capital, and debt service in the form of redemption of principal. So that leaves us with 5.475 million going into the upcoming year. That's a little conservative. It's going to be a little higher than that. And we're saying in this column down here, we're going to save all of that and use it for some future need. We're not using it to support a budget deficit in the 26 year, although it's available to you. Our plan is to not need to do that. We're just going to hang on to it. I know that was a bunch, but I'll pause and see if there's any questions from the board.
Four of that million is in the sweep account, right?
At least, yes.
Yeah, at least, because it's growing
So
nicely.
some of this is held in some other funds that are bond controlled. We control it. You got a debt service reserve. It's not part of this number. You've got a repair and replacement fund, also not part of this number, but you do have some other small accounts for expenses that are unrestricted. It's very de minimis. Most of this, in fact, between Chase and Arizona Bank and Trust and Sunflower, until we're out of there, all of those funds are local and controlled directly by us. Any questions from the board on the budget presentation? Doesn't look like it, Brian.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve the proposed budget for fiscal year 2026.
I'll move to approve the proposed budget for fiscal year 2026.
Thank you. And the second?
This is Ben, I'll second.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Mendonca,
Yes.
Dr. Tejan,
Yes.
Mrs. Hobage,
Yes.
Dr. Windsor. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That appears unanimous. Those present, the adopted budget, the proposed budget for fiscal year 2026 is approved. All right, item number 7. Hi, Mrs. Mendonca.
Hi.
I was scooching through a bunch of pictures. I went back all the way to the first Facebook post. Couldn't sleep. So I went all the way back to the first Facebook post, and I just scrolled through. It's like, oh my gosh, we've had the most beautiful journey. And to see, because you were mostly the photographer, so you know, you weren't as many as others, but then I've thought about our time together and everything, and then I look at little, I should say that, I apologize. I look at Sarah Beth Lowenberg, that young, strong woman, and taking on her role. I mean, I think she, for a moment, felt like I'm not doing it like Mrs. Mendonca, but it's like, Sarah Beth, you want to do it like you do it, and it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. So she's strong, and I think she's strong because of you.
Thank you.
We love you.
So if nobody motions, that means she has to stay, right?
I think it's just
Just
an
so the board
announcement.
knows, just so the board knows, I offered to stay as long as Brian wanted me to, and he put
Aw.
down June, so.
Oh,
He did not consult the rest of the board with
Yeah, I don't
that
agree.
response.
oh, I sent hey, I sent a text to you saying, okay, because you told me, I thought you said June, you wanted to be done and
I
just be
said,
grandma.
okay, unless you want me to stay longer, or you need me to stay longer. And then
I
you
need
never
you-
responded to that. So okay, well,
We need you to stay
no,
for.
I'll take June. That's fine.
Well, it could have been one of the AFibs. It could have been I stuck my arm in something.
Could just be you turned 66 and you're a year older than me now.
Could have been.
No, it's fine. I'm ready to retire.
Yeah. But I appreciate you being here. I mean, Sarah Beth gives you a call every once in a while and, to consult with you.
I give her a call every once in a while to remind her that something has to be done. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll do it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that so
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
So much. All right. Well, thank you, Beth, from the
You're
bottom
welcome.
of my heart.
It's been a journey. Yeah. That's one thing I've been working on is scrapbooking my 44 years. And I had a lot of years before you and I met, but
What?
it's hard to believe. But it's interesting, the journey from that point on. And I'm very proud of what we accomplished. But I feel like there's plenty of good leadership that can take over, and I don't need to worry about it anymore. So
There is some good
How you're,
leadership.
how your fingerprints are all over everything at Paideia. And even when we look at documents and we look at, oh, this was made more efficient by Mrs. Mendonca. So thank you it's just amazing how the impact that you've made. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
We're gonna miss you, Beth.
I miss you. There's some days that I really, it's like, I probably could have stuck it out a little bit longer, but then the majority of the days I like, I like my long walks in the morning and my hour naps, usually 2-hour naps, and my hour or so in the pool, and
Good
just
for
kind of
you.
what I want to do. I'm definitely chilling. So
Good for you.
yeah, my doctor asked me when I went, and then I'll shut up. The other day for my heart check, and he said, "You look so different. What's different?" I retired, and he said, "And you like that?" And I said, "Yeah, a lot." He said, "Well, you don't look stressed," and I said, "Yep, this is true." So, anyway.
Yeah. Talk about fingerprints and the impact. We went through the accreditation and, between Beth and Victoria, finding all the documents. And one of the lessons I've learned from accreditation was it doesn't matter if you're doing something. You got to document this stuff, and you got to have good documentation, and you got to know where it is and bring it up. Otherwise, it didn't happen in the eyes of accrediting people. And then when we went through, the beauty was when we were eligible for early recharter, and we went through the recharter, it was like, we did this. And so all the documents was just a regurgitation of everything you'd produced, Victoria and everybody. And there's just one little thing that we had to do, and that was get 7th and 8th grade out of Paideia Elementary Academy. It was like, oh, yeah, we should do that. And it just went through nicely. So appreciative. And Ben's been here. I was looking back as 2015, it's like, holy smokes, I think when you jumped on the board, this is crazy. Crazy stuff. All right. Well, without any other business, Joel, we need to meet before July 5th or
The 15th of July is the
15th.
last date the board is allowed to approve the adopted budget. So it's got to be 10 days after today and up to and on the 15th of July. That's kind of your window.
All right, I'll send out some feelers to y'all, make sure we know which one to do. We also have our annual board meeting coming up in August or September. I'll counsel together with Mrs. Jones on when's best to do that. And we'll meet again. Thank you, everyone.
Brian,
Thanks,
a
Joel.
quick request if I can.
Go ahead.
Let me know as soon as you've pinned down the exact date and time for the adopted budget meeting. And the same thing would apply if we want to do the revised budget version at the August meeting. That's perfectly fine to do. You don't need to wait till September. But if the September meeting falls after the 15th, that means we have to do it in the August meeting. That way we don't have another meeting come up for no reason. So just let me know those dates as soon as you kind of pin those down.
The revised budget has to be sent by when?
By September 15th.
Okay.
So anytime after you've done the adopted budget, theoretically, but no later than September 15th. So really the August meeting is a great target for that because it's easy to get it done by then. We'll want that on the agenda for that meeting.
Sounds good. Thank you, Rie. Misan, this was meeting number 3, I think.
Yes, it is.
So
I don't know what that means.
we know that means exactly right. The same person who sat in that office. So it's interesting. That's funny. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh,
Okay,
did we
thank
have
you.
did we vote to adjourn?
Oh,
We do. I forgot last time too. Victoria,
Oh,
were you
I
making a
move-
motion?
Yeah, I move to adjourn the board meeting at 6:13 p.m.
I'll second.
And all in favor? Yes.
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 Any opposed?
No.
Happy day. Thank you, everyone.